Welcome to my life on paper. I am Brianna, and I am back with another three for so three. I've got Get in Shape, which is a new series by Shannon Blinn. Sketch Sunday, which I continue to play along with. We have a sketch by Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. And then Baby Got Scraps, where we are only using one 12 by 12 piece of paper, and then the rest are scraps. So I have this beautiful sketch. Our shape this week is circles, which is perfect for this sketch. So it's got a big circle in the middle. I take my acrylic paint, I water it down. It kind of happened on accident. I probably would have liked to water it down more at the beginning, but I kind of keep adding more water, which gives it a faded look into the middle. Wasn't on purpose, but I do like the outcome from it. Um, I have never done something like this before. I did think about taking a texture paste to do the circle. This worked out just fine. I grabbed the brown because the pictures I have are of some food, and the embellishments that I have some brown in it, and the food has some brown in it. This kind of, when it comes out, makes me think of a log, if you think of the rings, which is kind of fun. But I would definitely try this again. So I make this pretty circle, and then I decide, oh my gosh, it's supposed to be like rough around the edges. So then I will go ahead and add some more paint just around the outside, which probably should be a little bit more random than I do it, but that's okay. We know I'm not random, so we work with what we got. Once you get the pictures and the embellishments down, um, you're not just staring at this big brown blob, so it works out pretty darn good. The only thing I was thinking was I didn't end up with, like, she's got like spots in the middle where with no paint, but sketches for inspiration, and no one ever said you had to do it exactly. So here I trimmed down my 4x6 photos. I've recently printed a whole bunch, and when I come up with sketches like this, sometimes I'll reprint them in a smaller size, but these were easy to just trim down. They are not exactly, oh, in fact, they're closer to 3 by 4.5. And that's not exact either, but how perfect does it work for this layout and the sketch and these photos? So then I will start getting things laid out. I don't have a lot of food. I'm a very themed scrapbooker. If you've watched my videos before, you would know that. I am trying to get away from making everything so themed. I do have lots of my supplies organized by theme, and so I did go into my food section and I pulled out what I had. This is by Cartabella. There's a lot of farm to table stuff. I'm not certain that this was a farm to table place. And a lot of like fresh eggs, things like that. And that actually is kind of the theme with all my pieces. So I was just looking for something that would kind of go together with the other collections, as well as the photos and the brown. At this point, I'm not thinking necessarily of the circles, and I'm going for more of the food embellishments. So I'll bring more circles in a bit. Some of these things have been hard to use, but I just love the colors of them. The shelves with all the utensils on. Can I let you in on a little secret? I don't do a lot of cooking or baking. My husband is a fabulous cook. That doesn't mean we couldn't use these items for things that he cooks at home, but I just felt like this. I love the color combination going on here, as well as the food items. So here's some twine I will use for the tags. This one I just loop through, and then the other one, the other tag, I will need to make a tag hole in. And here I'm using my crocodile to make an off-centered hole, and that doesn't bother me at all. It's a hole, so I'm going to use my twine to fill to hang from there. The bone Apetit, I know this is dark. I knew I was going to have to like back it with something, so that's something I'll get to. Here's 49 in Market, and I just pulled out some of the tickets. We went to this restaurant in Milwaukee by Summerfest, where we went to see a concert. It was in June, and So we didn't need tickets for the restaurant, but we needed tickets for the show. So I liked that was just some nice layering pieces. So here is where I remember, oh yeah, add some more circles. And I have this little stamp I've never used before, and I believe I got it off Amazon. And it's just a little, it's almost like 3.5 by 3.5. It's a little bit smaller than that. And then I cut 3.5 by 3.5 pieces. I had to trim down a little bit once I stamped on there. Wasn't sure what color I was going to use. This chocolate color by Close to My Heart, which is way long time retired. Just kind of wasn't doing it for me. So I grabbed out my Catherine Pooler, and you'll see that in a moment. I only have 4 or 5, actually 5, at least 5 colors of Catherine Pooler inks. And one of them is, I gotta look to see the color. I was gonna call it tangerine, but it's actually Tiki Torch. Oh, here I am, like, I've never used it before, so I get that protective coating off of it with my arm there. And here's the Tiki Torch, and it's quite bright, but it pulls some of those colors from the embellishments there, and you're not going to see a lot of it once it's done. That black that's on there, that's on my block, on my clear block. So yeah, so that's just kind of a little fun circles. I probably, it's not something I would have thought of, but I love these different prompts that make me use some of the things in my stash that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. Just extra layering bits, and sorry for the shake there. So I do stamp 3 of those, and then I will get those into each one of the clusters that I'm making. I don't, now that I'm looking at the sketch, I don't use that cluster up in the right-hand corner, upper right. But other than that, I followed this sketch pretty closely. Now that the stamping is done, I'm going to get those layers. Please check those below, and you will find everyone that is playing along with each of the series. So the Get in Shape with Shannon Blinn, Baby Got Scraps with Kristen from Kristen's Crafts, and how can I forget about Sketch Sunday? Check out all the Sketch Sunday people playing along. We are using these exclusive sketches. So the first one up for the new year is Christy. I always love Christy's sketches. So here I've got, things where I think I want them in each cluster. I love like lemons. It's not like it's a layout about lemons, but it's just another cluster or another layering piece, and the same thing with the pig. And we could have had pork, I'm not really sure. But I should mention these lovely wood pieces are from Close to My Heart. Next week on Sunday with the Shape It Up series is chevrons, so be looking for that. That'll always happens on Sunday along with the Sketch Sunday group, so that is fun. And then Baby Got Scraps is going all month long, and they're so just check below for everyone that's playing along with that. I love how this turns out. I love sketches. I would have never thought of this design myself. Super excited for how this turns out. And you can see, even though I've got my clusters figured out, things still get moved around. And that cluster on the right lower side goes off the page. I'm going to trim that off. And you'll see the same thing probably with the left upper cluster. But I just don't like that space in between those two pieces, so I do move that tag in. Make sure to get the pig on there. And then my wood pieces. So it's got a lot of fun, different things going on without being too loud or busy, honestly. I use my ATG to glue everything down, including the wood pieces, and it works really well. I do get my refills from Tape Jungle. In case you're new here, I put in, I believe it was Black Friday, I put in an order. I got a whole case, so that should last me a couple years. I'm still keeping in mind that I should have more circles on the page. I do have the one big one. I've got the stamp circles. So the next thing I'll do is get some sequins out, since those are circular. And I have some Spiegelmom scraps sequins, and I pull out the Blushing Bride sequins. And I just take out the bigger ones, and they're somewhat pink, which there is obviously the pig is pink, and there is some pink in the other embellishments as well. And I'll just take those bigger ones and make some clusters in each of the embellishment clusters there next to them. And I can't find my regular glue, so I end up using, I shouldn't say regular glue. I like Barely Art glue, and it is lost on my desk somewhere right now, so I pulled out my other glue. But here are some flair that I have that are food related. I didn't want the super red ones. There is red in these papers, but I just didn't want it screaming red. The black as well, the Bon Appetit is black, but it's just not super black. So I end up going into my regular stash, pulling out some of the wood grain flair, and then using one of it's forks and knives and things like that. I'll put that in that cluster right there, and I use some adhesive, foam adhesive tape, and then I'll get that one on there. That one's going to move around a little bit. I have a little bit of issues. It's off the page. I can't trim it, but it does stay in that cluster. And then the one on top. So then I feel like I have my circles. I've got the stamped circles, the big brown circle, the sequins, which I'll glue down in a minute, as well as the flair. Here's my Tombow mono adhesive, which works. Just sometimes if you get too much glue on there, it doesn't dry nicely. I want to take a moment to say thank you to all my subscribers. I love watching my numbers grow. I try not to dwell on that, but it's just so fun and exciting to see more subscribers. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Certainly leave me a comment with any questions you might have. I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much. I love getting to know this new community. I'm working on, actually in June, it'll be 2 years. So what is it, like a year? I've been on YouTube for a year and a half now. So exciting. All right, here I am just trimming off those pieces. And like I said, that flare gave me just a little bit of problems because it was hanging off the page there. But I just take my scissors. Now, these Tim Holtz scissors are amazing. They're serrated. In the past, I would have always picked up my trimmer, but I love these scissors so much that I will use them on anything. And I get it pretty darn straight with going along the paper. So there you go. Thank you for sticking with me to the end. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon.